The Luxedo portal recently went through a major update which gave our users access to a whole bunch of more advanced settings, but all of these settings might seem a little daunting at first. So in this video, we're going to go through each and every single one, explain how to use them, and explain what they mean. You can access these advanced settings by going to the Projectors tab of your My Luxedo portal, which by default will take you to the Calibration tab. Now, we have plenty of guides covering the subject of calibration already, so if you want to learn more about that, be sure to check out those guides and videos. But for the sake of this, we're going to go straight to the About section. Now, under the About section, there aren't a whole lot of settings, but you do have some very important information that might be relevant to you at some point. For example, you can see your device ID, and you can access your device password by clicking on this eye icon right here. You also have access to your firmware version, which can be a useful tool if you ever are in need of troubleshooting assistance, as well as these downloads, which shows you every single scene that you have currently downloaded to your device. Now let's have a look at the audio settings. Under the audio settings, you're primarily going to be concerned with this Luxedo radio option at the bottom, which when you toggle it will give you access to a website that will allow you to wirelessly connect your audio system to your Luxedo projections. Now, we have other guides that go into this in more detail, so if you're interested in learning more, be sure to check those out. As far as this audio output setting, unless you are using a LuxCast system, you will not need to worry about this. So if you are using a standard Luxedo V3 or V2 or whatever you have, you are not really going to ever need to change the audio output setting. Now let's move on to the controls section, where you'll have arguably the most useful settings at your disposal. First of all, you can activate Spotlight. This just casts a bright white image on whatever your projection surface is that allows you to see the full extent of your projection space. With this, you can adjust your projector accordingly and get it so your Luxedo system is perfectly covering your projection surface. The power projector option allows you to turn either your projector on or off depending on what power state it's currently in. The Stop Playback button, on the other hand, allows you to immediately halt any playback that is currently ongoing, whether it be calibration images, a spotlight, or even a scheduled show. Finally, the Restart button allows you to power cycle the entire system, not just the projector, but the entire Luxedo projection systems. If ever you're having any kind of difficulty, we recommend trying to restart the whole system and see if that problem persists. Moving on to network settings, most of these are going to be advanced settings that you won't need to concern yourself with. At the bottom here, you have your signal strength, which tells you how strong your connection is to your Wi-Fi. If you'd ever like, you can try to test your network connection, which will give you certain information about the network speed and strength. But ultimately, so long as you're above around 40%, you're going to be getting consistent coverage. Now, as for these two network settings up here, Hotspot Enabled simply means that you're going to be able to see the Luxedo Wi-Fi network you first used to connect your device to Wi-Fi appear on a list of available networks, say on your phone. If you have it disabled, however, that is going to prevent that from appearing and will only be reactivated in the case that either you change the setting again or your device loses connection to Wi-Fi altogether, at which point it will automatically kick back in. As far as show Wi-Fi info goes, after you've connected your Luxedo to the internet, it will typically project this image. Now, this isn't really a problem in any way, but if you ever want to stop it from projecting this image, you can simply toggle the show Wi-Fi info button. As far as the settings go, most of this is things we've already seen. We've seen the audio output, the option to power on and off again, as well as the option to turn off show Wi-Fi info, but I will be going over the other new settings here. First of all, the camera exposure settings. If your snapshots or your calibration photos are ever looking weird, either too bright or too dark, you may want to have a look at your camera exposure settings. If your images are turning out to be too dark, you're going to want to set your exposure setting to high. And if your images are turning out too bright, you're going to want to set your camera exposure to low. As far as this sleep timer option, this sets the amount of time that your internal projector will need before shutting itself off. You will, of course, still have access to it at this point in time, as the internal system has not turned off. However, if you would like for the internal projector to stay on for longer, you can change this to any length you want, say 100 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or you could turn it off altogether.